Welcome back. Welcome, whatever it is. If you've been here before, thanks for coming back. If you haven't, I'm glad you came. Anywho, today we're going to be doing, I don't know, something with epoxy or resin, I should say. And I got the project already a little bit started. I had some scrap lumber laying around, some exotics. I'm not sure what it is. I get some crazy stuff from my work. They have it strapped to the bottom of pallets and stuff. And it comes from Indonesia, so I never know what it is. But usually it turns out pretty interesting when you get a bit of finish on it. And it's got pretty cool grain. So what I'm going to do is I've already got it kind of cut, glued up, and I started hacking out a little bit of it. And I'll explain once we get there, once I get over there. Here we go. All right, here's what we got. It's got some kind of interesting side end grain. It's kind of interesting, and it looks almost like a little bit of leopardy. That could be stains or something, but who knows. There's a stain right there, but a lot of this other stuff looks like it's kind of in the wood. And as I figure as it gets finished, what I did is I have a part for my grinder here. I actually have this bad fella. It's a wood carver, and I started carving at this before I glued it up, before I glued it together. And now I'm going to use my Dremel. I'm going to use the Dremel here, and we're going to do some reliefs in here and kind of give it like a landscape. And then I got a tree that I made out of wire and some like moss, and I'll give a link. I stole the tree thing from another YouTuber, and it was really cool, so I will give a link to that person's as well at the end of the video. But here we go. It's all carved out, and I almost glued my hand to the phone because I still got so much CA on me. We got our trees all done, and we've added some landscape. We've got some moss and stuff, and some soapstone to make it look sort of I don't know, like a hollow down in a rocky valley. As I say, we're going to pour resin around this and make it look kind of like a raindrop. And I'm probably going to put a little coloring on the very top to make kind of accent the wood. Try to keep the bottom clear. I'll do that at the very end. It's a very slow cure. So that's probably how we're going to work that. But all right, next part will be doing the resin. All right, I'm gonna do some mixing here. We got our liquid glass super clear, 2.0 premium commercial grade, yada yada yada. Got my graduated measuring device here, a 1 quart one. We're gonna have to mix up probably a little bit more than a quart, but we'll do what we got to do to get it full. All right, so it's 2 to 1. And I'm gonna mix up 20 ounces. All right, there you can see we're at the 4 in our 2 to 1 ratio. So then I'll just fill up the hardener up to there. It should be spot on. All right, we're up to our 2-to-1 mark. I'm going to mix this by hand just because I want to keep the bubbles down, since I've been having a lot of bubble issues. So I won't bore you with this. We'll come back when I've got it all mixed. I gotta mix this for 5 minutes, and yeah, we'll see you in a few minutes. All right, we have been stirring for a indefinite amount of time, so we're gonna get this poured in there. Okay, I got this between centers with all this extra epoxy that leaked behind my block here. Figure I'll just start out, and I'm gonna turn a really shallow tenon on here so I can put a waste block on top of that. So that way when I turn my bottom, I can, don't have to worry about turning it into my waste block. Anyways, so I got it between centers, and I'm gonna just square it up and get that going. Okay, nice. All right, what I'm gonna do is take it off. I'm gonna nip off this little nipple. All right, I got my waste block on there, and I'm just gonna start whittling it down. right, I'm gonna leave that, and I'm gonna finish this off the top. And then once I get that parted off, I'm gonna start sanding, wet sanding. And then I will part this off last, and I will sand it on my big disc to get it to the round that I would really like it to be. So that way I don't go too far. I didn't get quite the smooth I wanted, so we're gonna start with 220 and we'll go up to 320 and then 4, 6, 8, 15, 2000. All right, I've got it sanded up to 600 grit, and now I'm going to go to the 8 and do some wet sanding. This is a good soak. Oh yeah, we're starting to get there. All right. See what we got here. Yorkshire grit, abrasive paste. My tongue's not working. No, I'm not overly, I'm very happy with the way this turned out. I just gotta get the dust off it now that been sitting down here overnight, but I'm not overly pleased with this areas. So, as it's got no shine for the most part, it's kind of dull. I'd like it to have a little bit of shine, so I'm gonna see if I can't put a little bit of paste on that and buff it up a little bit, because that micro fine paste doesn't really seem to do much on the wood per se, in my experience. So I'm going to try to keep it off the resin as much as possible, but still see if we can get a little bit of a shine to this. I'd call that a win. A little bit better, a little smoother, feels a little better. Got a little bit of the whiting out. So I'm gonna call that a win and call it done. I'm gonna part this off now. I'm just gonna cut it with a saw because I'm afraid if I crank this up, I'm gonna end up with it flying across my shop and ruining my nice little project. That is some tough wood. All right. I really like it. I think it's really cool. I'm gonna find something to set this in gingerly, and then I'm going to bust out my sanding apparatuses, and we're gonna sand this down and round it off, and then I'm gonna turn a little base for it to sit in, out of the same type of wood that I have here. I have a small piece, and we'll just do that. All right, we'll be back when we get that done. All right, I ended up, this was the top of my project that didn't get used. It was kind of a waste. So what I've decided to do is make this here my little stand for my raindrop. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to put a waste block on the bottom so I can, in the form of a tenon. I'm gonna glue this on the bottom. I'm gonna straighten this out, and then I'll turn this down in diameter to a nice circle, and we'll polish it up, and then we'll part it off, and that'll be the end of it. It'll be a nice stand. I'll hollow it out so that like a circle, so that the raindrop sits in there and has a nice stable stand. So we'll get to that right away. All right, this is the finished project. My base turned out pretty good. I'm pretty happy with this. I can't really do justice to what it is, but it really is amazing. So if you watched the video, please click the thumbs up, like it, subscribe. Get me out there for everybody else to see this video. I'd appreciate it. Well, you should all be good. If you can't be good at it. Thanks.